Outbreaks in our food.
Yeah. Blogging pod starts like a conversation. Cup of coffee with no destination. Just voices trying to understand what's happening across this land. From your stories told to the pages turned. Every question, every word, supported by SheSharesStudios.net.
Hello, and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. So let's talk a little bit today, Laura, about Taylor Farms, food safety, regulatory oversight, and corporate accountability. So federal and state health officials investigated a multi-state outbreak, and I'm going to mess up the pronunciation of this disease. Cyclospora, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Cyclospora infections linked through epidemiology and trace back evidence to iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms de Mexico. I don't know if have you heard of this?
Yes, I have. And it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah. When I first heard about it, I heard it was in Michigan. We do have reported cases here in Ohio, but it was in Michigan. And then I heard Taco Bell was linked to it because they had it. A lot of people got it from being there. And then that was linked back to Taylor Farms. As far as what I'm understanding, the illness was connected to this outbreak was reported in, here we go, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia. From what I've gathered from the latest, from the CDC figures were like 1,644 confirmed illnesses. Now, and I guess 94 people had been hospitalized. No deaths have been reported, thank goodness. Now, from what I understand, I watched a disease specialist talk about it on TikTok, or at least she said she was. She seemed pretty informed. she and then because what she was doing is she was listening to a video of somebody else talk about it, and basically the girl was talking about how embarrassing it was because it's projectile diarrhea. And so basically and then I guess lots of stomach cramps. But if you have diarrhea or you have to go, you're going to get some. At least I have. You're going to
Yeah,
get some
that is
stomach
like
cramps.
hand in hand, like, or I should say,
Yeah.
it's like the blood. Like,
Yeah, toilet paper and bowl. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
yes, yeah, living in the bathroom, not leaving for a while. Yes, like I think that's almost always.
Right. And then I guess now this is the interesting part. I guess that for the most part, I'm thinking what is like a parasite or something like that, right? The
Yes.
the butt disease, the bowel disease, the bowel butt disease. I'll just say it that way. The Clyspora. Basically, what happens is, I guess, when it goes into your intestines, it burrows in there, right? And
Mhm.
that's the cramping and discomfort. And then they kind of get it on with each other. And
No.
they start to oh, yeah, did you not know that? Yeah, they're having I don't even know what the title would be for that many getting it on together, but they're having a whale fun time in your bowels. And then they reproduce. And I guess that takes about a month. And within that time, well, by the end of the month, the new Clyospora cannot live inside your bowels, so they'll die. So it takes about a month for that, so you'd have projectile diarrhea.
So basically, they're having a party, marrying all up in there for a whole month, and then they just leave, and then now you're gotta get better. But basically, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just
Okay.
getting all together up on there. It's longer than a one-night stand. I don't know if it's, a full marriage cycle, but it's longer than a one-night stand.
Well, we gotta
Now,
laugh, or what else are we gonna do? Cry about it at this point, there's too much stuff to cry about.
right.
We could joke.
So, reported illnesses began about May 13th to July 13th, 2026. And of course, today is July 2020. Yeah, 23rd, 2026. So, known cases represent part of the larger part of Cladospora illness reported nationwide or nationally during 2026. Now, again, I mentioned the connection to Taco Bell and iceberg lettuce. The affected patients reported eating Taco Bell before becoming ill. Michigan health officials obtained detailed food histories from 190 patients who reported eating Taco Bell. Now, even before a class soap, I don't know but about you, but Taco Bell really has always had that kind of reaction for me. Not really a month long kind of reaction period, but you get where I'm going.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I
I
think on
mean,
the other hand, I don't think people were too surprised, but I guess the level of, going to the bathroom has is the highest level now, but, people they look fine.
I mean, I guess if you went and bought it and you froze that stuff and started thawing it all month long, it might be a mild projectile system.
Yes, that could be.
So, approximately 90% of those patients reported eating iceberg lettuce. The FDA traceback work found that restaurants connected to illnesses had received shredded iceberg lettuce from a single supplier, Taylor Farms de Mexico. Now, not every Taco Bell restaurant in the 5 states received lettuce from the same supplier. Taco Bell immediately stopped using the implicated Taylor Farms de Mexico lettuce at July 17th. July 17th, and it was reported May 13th. Hey, they're glad they got on that right quick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad it
Oh
received
man.
the most a priority.
Right. Ah, there's a few cases. We can hold out till next month. That's when the next shipment's supposed to come.
It's already out. It's too much work to call it back. I mean, there are I did read that there are some cases here in Arizona, some confirmed cases.
Mm,
I think the last one I read was probably a few days ago, and it said 5 or 7
hmm.
cases.
Wow. Wow. It's spreading. It's still when they even know where it's coming from, and we're still getting cases on it. Well, a recall was stated on July 17th for Taylor Farms de Mexico. They voluntarily removed all the iceberg lettuce sourced from central Mexico. Maybe not the ones from Well, wait a minute. Even if you're getting cases in Arizona, I guess there's some, what do you call that? A period of time. There's a word I'm looking for and I can't think it, but like a period of time before it starts to appear in your system. So that could explain for why you're seeing in Arizona, since today's 23rd and they pulled it the 17th. Incubation period, is that what they call that?
I think so. Yes, yes, like it's
Hmm.
time where it was cooking or whatever, what it was doing.
Must see here. So it was sourced for central Mexico, the United States market, and they recalled it from restaurants, food services, retailers. Let's see what else I've got here. Individual consumers, retail products included market brand lettuce sold through Walmart. I don't shop from Walmart anymore, but I could see that. 12 ounces and 24-ounce iceberg lettuce, and then 8 ounces and 16-ounce shredded lettuce. The listed use by dates range from July 18th through August 3rd, 2026. The company's action was described as a voluntary recall, although it occurred while the FDA and CDC were tracing the outbreak to Taylor Farms. So,
Well, there's that.
voluntary on a trick. Yeah, voluntary on a trace back. Now, on July 18th, the FDA initially reported that the lettuce samples supplied by Taylor Farms had tested positive for Glyospora. Now, the FDA laboratory experts re-examined the result because testing for patient parasites in complex. On July 19th, the FDA announced that the result did not represent a true positive and should be treated as a false positive. As of that date, the FDA have not confirmed positive productive samples. The false positive result did not end in the outbreak tongue-tied investigation or the recall. The FDA continued to identify Taylor Farms, New Mexico through traceback evidence. CDC continued to state that the epidemiology and traceback of evidence showed that Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce was making people sick. Rather
Mm,
confusing there, right? Come out, say it's not, but then the traceback is still showing trailer farms.
right.
This means that the current connection rests on patient interviews, restaurant exposures, and pattern supply chain tracing rather than confirmed positive product sampling. Now, what is Cliospor? Now, we recently just kind of talked about this from you and I's thing, but here is a more detailed if you're interested to say, hey, I have been using the restroom a lot. What exactly are my symptoms?
Do I have
Clios.
this?
Yeah. I started doing my MCT oil with, it's a supplement. And I started to have the same reaction. I started to trace back what I had been eating. Did I have lettuce? When did I eat lettuce?
Oh
It's
my
not, it's
God.
not, it's not that. I don't have any stomach cramping, but, I was getting a little projectile there for a little while. I was getting kinda worried.
Right,
Um,
like, what is this?
right. Excuse me. The Claspora, and I'm not gonna be able to pronounce the other word, is a microscopic parasite infection that can cause frequent or prolonged watery diarrhea. Check. That's what okay, yeah, okay, check. Loss of appetite. No, I don't got that. Weight loss, I wish. And, abdominal pain or cramping. No, I don't have any of that. Bloating, no. Nausea, no, I don't have any of that. Fatigue, fever, or body aches in some patients. No, the only thing I've got is that first one on which I'm sure my listeners really want to know. Symptoms may appear. Now, here's the important part, Laura, when we were talking about you saying some of it's coming in Arizona since the current stock was pulled on the 17th. So symptoms may appear several days or as long as 2 weeks after exposure. So that's interesting. 2 weeks. Good gracious. I don't even know if I could track my food, what I've eaten 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no. I mean, unless you used your, debit card and you can kinda trace back, but at that point, you're like, "Well, which one is it?" That's if you ate out, it would have, record, or, you cooked and you're like, "Well, I don't know when I got this." Well, I guess you could trace it
Right?
that way too because, if you paid for your groceries at the store, it would tell you the date, and then you can go from there, but I
Yeah,
sometimes I don't even know what I had, like, 2 days ago, let alone 2 weeks ago.
I know, right? I'm so bad at that sometimes. So, washing your produce may reduce some of the contamination, but may not remove Claspora completely. Now,
Mm,
what I found interesting most about this, Laura, was Taylor Farms has had previous incidents, especially of Cliospora outbreak. I guess in 2013, an outbreak involving restaurant salads in Iowa and Nebraska. The outbreak sickened hundreds of people nationally, with Iowa and Nebraska cases traced to a salad mix by Taylor Farms, New Mexico. Taylor Farms temporarily suspended production and shipments from the Mexico facility in August of 2013. FDA investigators evaluated the raw ingredients, farm conditions, employee sanitation, water, sewage system, processing, and transportation. The FDA environmental assessments did not identify one definitive contamination point. The agency issued recommendations involving water quality, worker hygiene, sanitation, and prevention of fecal contamination. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
Right, excuse me. And then in 2015, because if you thought 2013 wasn't enough, in 2015, Costco chicken salad outbreak and celery recall. Back again tied to Taylor Farms. Pacific supplied a celery and onion mix used in Costco rotisserie chicken salad during 2015. The E. coli outbreak at that point. A preliminary state laboratory results indicated E. coli in the Taylor Farms celery and onion mixture. Taylor Farms voluntarily recalled the mixture and additional products containing celery. Later, federal testing could not confirm the E. coli in that particular product sample. The outbreak was linked, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce that word, to Costco chicken salad. But the laboratory evidence against Taylor Farms mixture was ultimately inconclusive. This incident is relevant as a prior large Taylor Farms recall, but it should not be described as a conclusively proven contamination at the Taylor Farms facility. Now, with that said, there was also another E. coli outbreak linked to Taylor Farms to a McDonald's. McDonald's quarter pounders during 2024 had an E. coli outbreak. The outbreak resulted in 104 confirmed illnesses in 14 states, 34 hospitalizations, and one death. Now,
Oh,
the FDA, I know, right? Now, the FDA inspection findings after the 2024 outbreak examined the Taylor Farms Colorado Spring processing facility after the McDonald outbreak. The inspectors issued a Form 483, which identifies conditions that may violate federal food safety requirements and require correction attention. And then there's a little bit of regulatory oversight. Federal agencies involved, the FDA regulates production, processing, and distribution most fruits and vegetation. The CDC coordinates disease surveillance and analyze illnesses, just for anyone who's interested to understand how that kind of works. So now they had voluntary recalls. So the voluntary recalls, the major one for Taylor Farms was discussed, were initiated voluntarily by the company. A voluntary recall does not mean exactly that they weren't uninvolved. An FDA investigation, traceback findings, and communications with the employee can precede and contribute to voluntary recalls. Now, the FDA has a mandatory recall in certain circumstances, but companies commonly act before the agency issues a formal mandatory order. Taylor Farms' voluntary action removed the products from distribution. It does not resolve questions on how the contamination occurred, although. So apparently there was inspection consequences in FDA Form 483 in in both incidences. The
mhm.
company's actions recalled removed implication products during 2013, 2015, 2024, and this recent 2026 incident. During the current outbreaks, the company removed all the iceberg lettuce sourced from the central Mexico. Taylor Farms publicly disputes aspects of the government current investigation following the FDA false positive laboratory results. Now, here's something I find interesting, though. When you go a little deeper into Taylor Farms, financial consequences.
Oh,
Large restaurants and retail customers removed affected Taylor products. Taco Bell stopped using. McDonald's previously ended sourcing from Taylor Farms, Colorado. There were some lawsuits that may create additional financial exposure. Also, following lawsuits does not establish liability. That's interesting to me, though, right? It doesn't. They can sue them, but it doesn't make them liable. That's so interesting to me.
mm,
So I know, right? So now, the something I find even more interesting is the kind of the links between Taylor Farms and political donations and lobbying. So Now
Mm.
would that be shocking to you that they would have that kind of connections?
Not at all, not at all. And I don't know.
It must be the I think it's the 2020 mindset.
Well, yeah, and also
2026,
too,
excuse
like,
me.
I'm thinking, all of the cuts made to certain departments, I mean, this goes prior, you said 2013. I mean, like,
Mhm.
Taylor Farms, like, are they just, like, using money to get out of that? Because I know, like, if you're gonna be doing any kinda, like, agriculture and all that stuff, isn't there, like, guidelines and steps to prevent all of this? And, like, I just keep hearing about Taylor Farms, and I'm like, "What's going on with that?" But, it could be, like, the financial donations, the political alignment, is just but it's bottom line, it's not fair to the consumer that we gotta, that at this point in time, like, an Oreo wouldn't do us dirty like this. Like, it would be a salad that would take us out, you know?
Right. Well, what's interesting here is that Taylor Farms executives met with the White House and FDA officials during this current outbreak response.
Mm.
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
discuss what? I was like,
Well,
"Here's more
um,
money?" I
er
mean, what what were
well
they talking about?
well, the meetings were reportedly involved company complaints about what it regarded as shortcomings in the government's investigations. Taylor Farms also hired Trent Morse, a former administration personnel official, through
Mhm.
government relations firm. I find that I find that interesting. A former administration personnel. That's who they hired. The Department of Health and Human Services publicly denied that Taylor Farms' political donations affected federal decision making. And no public document identified in this review proves that the meetings, donations, or lobbying caused the FDA to withdraw the positive laboratory results. The FDA stated that its laboratory specialists re examined the sample and determined that the initial finding was a false positive because it did not show true amplification. But when they talk about the lobbying and the political donations, public filings reviewed by The Wired. You've heard of The Wired, right?
Mhm.
Okay. They showed that the Taylor Farms donated more than 3.6 million to conservative political groups between 2020 and 2025. The reported contributions include 1 million to MAGA Inc., approximately 1.1 million to other Republican supporting super PACs in 2025, and earlier contributions to conservative groups including AFP Action. Taylor Farms CEO Bruce Taylor personally donated more than 900,000 to Republican candidates' political committees beginning in 2020. According to the reviewed filings, Taylor Farms hired Sidley Austin lobbyists in 2025. Lobbying disclosure records identified food safety regulations as one of the subjects on which the company sought representations with their lobbying within the government. The company reportedly spent approximately 810,000 on lobbying beginning in 2025. The political donations and lobbying established the Taylor Farm and its leadership sought political access and influence over policy. They did not by themselves prove that the regulators changed or weakened a specific investigation for Taylor Farms.
Mm.
So, to recap, the current factual positions, as far as I can find them, without my opinion seeping in here.
Right, right.
Yeah. The CDC and FDA continue to link the five-star Clyspora outbreak to Taylor Farms, de Mexico. Iceberg lettuce through epidemiology and traceback evidence. No confirmed positive LASO sample had been reported by FDA as of July 19th update. The outbreak included at least 1,644 confirmed illnesses and 94 hospitalizations. The current recall remains active despite the correction of the false positive laboratory results. Taylor Farms has previously been associated with or involved in recalls connecting to the 2013 Clyospora outbreak, the 2015 Costco chicken salad investigation, the 2024 McDonald's E. coli outbreak. The strength of evidence was not identical in each incidence. The 2024 FDA inspection documented significant sanitation observations at the Colorado Spring facility. The FDA did not determine that those inspection findings caused the 2024 outbreak and did not impose immediate mandatory regulatory actions. Taylor Farms and its executives have made substantial Republican political contributions and have lobbied on food safety regulation. The available documentation established political and lobbying connections, but does not establish that those connections altered the outbreak or particular FDA or CDC investigation. Today's sources come from investigations of 5-state outbreak class 4 illness iceberg lettuce from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Investigative update class 4 outbreak July 2026 from the Center of Control and Prevention. Environmental assessment 2013 class 4 outbreak in Iowa and Nebraska finding and recommendations. U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Outbreak investigation of E. coli onions October 2024. U.S. Food and Drug Administration. FDA finds little hand washing dirty equipment at McDonald's supplier linked to E. coli outbreak. CBS News. Taylor Farms spent big on MAGA and anti-regulatory lobbying before diarrhea outbreak. Wired. I love the title of that one. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you, Laura, for as always. Until next time, bye bye for now.